It's the last day of the month. I made a video about my goals for the month of September, and I know that you're going to get this in a bit of a delay, and hopefully we'll get in sync here in the near future. But regardless of when you watch this video, I wanted to bring you along with me for a little bit of my month of September, my goals, the habits that I've been working on, and how that went. And I love these kind of videos because I've noticed that when we have a focus and we know where we want to go in general, maybe not specifically, we can be so empowered by taking tiny steps in the right direction. I think that in my personal life, as far as my spiritual, I am it's very important to me that I am heeding the Holy Spirit. So I might have plans, but I am very open to them shifting. I'm very open to being told, nope, we're going this direction. However, I do believe that God wants us to have a focus, work toward things that are going to build us up and build up people around us. I think a lot of what's going on in sometimes the world and society is we're inundated with so much that we could do that we either don't do anything or we start and stop a million things and we never really get them done. And it can be frustrating. I've been there too. Sometimes it's like, well, somebody is doing this morning routine. Maybe I should do that. Somebody is doing this evening routine. Maybe I should do that. Somebody is living their life this way. Maybe I should do that. I don't know if it's advice, but the word that I think is important to get from this is you have to know what your priorities are. Your priorities may not be the same as somebody else's, nor will they be the same in every season of your life. Years ago, my priority was my kids, and prior to that, my priority was paying off my student loan debt, making sure I didn't have any, debt outside of a mortgage and things like that. Seasons will change depending on your life, and also it's going to depend on what's important to you. For me, my relationship with God is top. Because of that, I have to make decisions based on that. And if I just kind of let a bunch of other things keep coming in and out of my life, it just keeps me very distracted. And it can be very disabling in some ways because you don't know what you should do with your free time. It's one thing when you go to work and you know what you need to do. To me, that's kind of like not the easy way, but it is easier when you have a job. This is what I do, get that done, move on. Other time, that's where you have to kind of usually decide. And let's even go back to your job. What if that's not the job that you really want to do? I would say give your all, give your attention and focus to that job and do the best that you can. But if you do have something else that you would like to do, then start doing some tiny habits that would reach that potential goal at some point, even if it's only 5 minutes a day. Not only is that really good for your mental health, it's also going to potentially take you in a new direction. I love all the different things that I do. I'm very blessed and fortunate. For me, though, sometimes my free time can get kind of sucked away by everybody else and what they want and need, whether it's my personal life, which that's actually not too bad as far as like my family and things like that. They're priority for me. But if I let my attention go toward, let's say, negative comments on my, social media or something, and I put a lot of energy and time and thought, and to me, that's a mental drain on my potential. So I like to have somewhat of a solid plan of how I do want to spend my time. Now, if my kid comes in and says, "Will you go to lunch with me?" Well, we can push all this stuff off to the side. But if I start getting, I don't know, a lot of negativity coming at me, I'm like, okay, we're shifting over in this direction. So I wanted to give you kind of my focus that I started off the month, and I'm on the last day of the month right now. So we're going to talk about what was successful. So I had the goal, actually wrote this down on a separate piece of paper, and I put it, this is in another video, but I put it just something right at the front of my planner that I could tell, am I actually doing these things? And if not, why not? So let me revisit really quick what my goals had been. Spiritual, and I broke them into categories. Spiritual, 1 hour of prayer time and using a timer. Reading 1 chapter of the Bible. Meditating on a mind-related verse. Transforming the mind. Using my journal book that a friend gave me. Physically, I wanted to do my physical therapy exercises. I wanted to do my red light and stretching. I wanted to lift weights a minimum of 10 minutes, at least 3 days a week. A prayer walk of 15 minutes minimum. Eat unprocessed food. Mental health, read 5 pages of whatever book, and then read 1 devotional. And then for my environment, I've been working on purging 100 items. Okay, let's see how I did. All right, so the next thing I did was I put it on a tracker sheet so that I would have a mental and accurate reminder of what I'm doing and if I'm doing it. Okay, so this section here is each of my physical therapy exercises. It looks like a lot, but they don't really take that long. And I was out of town for a few days, so there's a big gap right there. But otherwise, look at that. That is pretty darn full. That, I would say, under physical, for physical therapy, got it. Check off my list. Successful. Why was it successful? Because of this thing, honestly. Without this, I probably wouldn't have done it even half of these days. Okay, red light and stretching. That's what this column is. I just tell myself 5 minutes, red light, and at that time, I'm usually either reading a devotion, reading a Bible, or praying. That also was hit every day that I was not out of town. Lifting weights. I said a minimum of 3, and I almost lifted every day that I was not out of town. There's 3 days that I didn't. Not bad. Why did I do that every day? Well, number one, I made an appointment with my daughter's boyfriend who lifts also. So we set a time in the morning. I do it before I go to work so I don't have the excuse of being tired. Well, at least for me, I'm a morning person. So to me, that is what builds in success. Reading 5 pages, I actually did that every day, even when I was on vacation. And how do I do that? you've seen this probably before with me. I take in my planner, and actually on Sunday, I write out what the book is and what pages I'm going to read. And sometimes I read ahead and then I'm like, oh, that's exciting. I'm getting farther than I thought. But in any case, I have another book that I just read like devouring. I don't need to track it. But usually more of my educational books, I like to give myself like that 5 pages. And I will show you how successful that has become. I'll show these books in a few minutes, but that's some of the books, not just from this month, but because of my little 5-page rule. Sorry, my camera's going nuts. Okay, hopefully the camera's back. Okay, so that was excellent. Reading, I love reading. Don't really need to track it, but it does help me. An hour of prayer. It's kind of interesting. I didn't put a check mark on there because I know that when I was on vacation, I was definitely doing an hour of prayer the whole time. So for sure, I hit that every day for that month. And I did it sometimes on a prayer walk. Sometimes I did part of a prayer walk and partly while I was driving. I didn't have any rule around it. I just wanted to devote that time. So, next page. I know this is a lot of tracking, but you have to figure out what works for you, and this is what works for me. Okay, 1 chapter of the Bible every day. This is that journal that I was talking about that my friend gave me. I actually love it, but I kept forgetting to use it. So I thought, why don't I just put it on my tracker? And thank you to my friend that I'm shouting out. I finished this journal, and it kind of was like I think it's actually supposed to be monthly or weekly journal, but I did it each day. But I ended up finishing that. This is reading devotions, so I did that every day. This is another book my daughter gave me that is basically kind of talking about my life. It's like a book for moms, but I was finding I'm not filling this thing in. So once I put it on my tracker, I started writing. Even if it took me 1 minute, I would just write something in. It's kind of like ask you questions. So as soon as I decided to put it on the tracker, boom, I did it every day. Purge 100 items. Honestly, I have 11 more to go today. So I can't actually check that off my list, but we'll get there because I have things I can do later today that will meet that goal. This is another devotional series that's actually on CD that I was not getting around to, and I've had it for years, but I wanted to do it, but it requires like hooking it up in my computer with a separate drive and all of this stuff, which is fine, but if you know me, you know I've talked about friction. What are the things that cause you to not do the things that you want to do? Usually there's some friction. So I put it on here. I ended up doing it. I think I have only 1 lesson left for that. So last one is my prayer journal, which again, I love this spiral journal, but I was not using it. So I thought, put it on the tracker. And now I've done it every day. So going back to the goals from the beginning of the month. 1 hour of prayer, check. Chapter of Bible, check. Meditate on a mind verse, not check. Why do you think? I didn't put it as a focus. I put it as a focus here, but I didn't put it on here. So guess what? October is going to have it on the list. The journal book, check. PT, check. Red light and stretch, check. Lift weights, check. Prayer walk, check. Eat unprocessed food. Too nebulous? What's the word? Too inspecific. Is that even a word? Too non-specific. How about that? Too non-specific. Eat unprocessed food every day, every meal. What is unprocessed? What do you mean by that? It's too vague. So that I was not very successful with. I don't even know how to measure that because I didn't make it specific enough. So for October, I will be very specific. Mental health, reading 5 pages, check. Reading a devotion, check. Purging 100 things from my environment, almost check, but it will be check at the end of the day. So that is the end of September. I would call that a success for me. I definitely felt very enthusiastic about doing all of these things, and they didn't take that long. It's not like, oh my gosh, who has time for all this? I mean, most of these things, I got done the physical therapy in about 15 minutes. The lifting of weights, yeah, that can take time, but you don't have to do it as long as I do it. I mean, remember, my goal was 10 minutes. So you don't have to go longer, but if you can, it's just icing on the cake. The hour of prayer, I work that into whatever else I'm doing. It can't be focused type of thing. I can't be at work and do it, but there's a lot of time driving, doing the dishes, walking, whatever. So point being, you don't have to have a long list of goals, but if you're noticing that you're not moving toward the things that are important to you, consider why. Consider if they're not specific enough. Also, whether or not you can actually achieve them. Our brains want to know, this is what I'm doing. This is when I'm doing it. This is how I'll know when I'm done. And otherwise, it just floats around. So I'm going to take you into the rest of the video with some few little clips of things that I did during the course of the month. And then hopefully I'll give you a little October video that will recap that and give you a kind of an idea of what I'm doing for that month. But I hope that you will take something away from this that might be positive and helpful. All right, thanks so much for being with me. Let's get on with my month. Smoothies for one and all. This is our morning protein, vegetables, vitamins. This one is mine. It has spinach, berries, green powder, a gluten-free oat milk, and collagen. My daughter has vegan protein powder and all the rest of the same stuff, plus she gets seeds in hers. And then my daughter's boyfriend, who also lives with us, and his is a whey protein powder. So that is our start for the day, Whole Foods. I'm out for my walk, and my 15-minute prayer walk is turning into an hour. So sometimes I do the hour of praying kind of broken up, sometimes during my physical therapy exercises or whatever. But today I got a little bonus time, so I'm making it an hour of prayer. So I'll be praying for you as well. While out of town, I did quite a bit of prayer walks and nice time for reflecting. Just such a beautiful, peaceful, restful time. We got some takeout one of the nights from a very whole food, healthy place, which was delicious. And as I sat and did some planning, felt really good. Back home, doing some of my weight training in the garage. Nothing fancy, needs a lot of cleanup in here, but this is kind of real life. I have a gym membership, but currently have been doing my lifting in the garage. And we have some good equipment, and I have a good trainer, so that's been working out really well. I got lunch with my daughter and we went to the gym. There she is doing some of the weights that we were enjoying. And here's me again at home getting ready for some weights. Another prayer walk and enjoying my time of reading. I have much that I enjoy that is relaxing. We are going to wrap this up with a quick book review and pretty much not get into details, hopefully, because this is not about the books, but I did say that I was going to mention them. Maybe I'll make a separate video at some point going into more depth. But whatever you ask was a wonderful weekly prayer journal that I ended up using as a daily journal. Promises of God, my girlfriend sent to me for my birthday last year, and I finished that. I basically read one a day while I did my red light. Power and Praise, I have 2 copies because my daughter and I both read it separately, but then would get together and talk about it. I have led a group in the past. I'm planning on doing something again in the future with it. Very powerful. We made some videos about this book that I'm not sure what order things are posting. This is one of Merlin Carruthers, the same author of Power and Praise, that wrote You Can Be Happy Now. beautiful testimonies. Love testimonies. Amazing. Preston Perry, How to Tell the Truth. This is an amazing book about just how you can basically be light in the world. I think it was amazing. He has a great testimony. Scientific Facts in the Bible. This was really cool because it's very condensed and basically gives you a lot of very specific examples of how science and the Bible basically agree on, so many points. Hypothyroidism, type 2. Not easy and light reading, but very interesting. And again, one of those books that is very good for me to schedule. Not that it was boring, but it's just more heavy. My girlfriend's book, Stepping Stones, that included a little bit of testimony that, because I've been involved in the basically community that she's involved with young women that are very disadvantaged and all the things that's happening in their community. Beautiful. Victory on Praise Mountain, another Merlin Carruthers book that I very much enjoy. I love how he writes. It's very easy reading and a lot of testimonies. Suzanne Summers, A New Way to Age. A lot of she interviewed a lot of different doctors about aging, and I thought that was very interesting. My friend sent me this book, Successful Women Think Differently, 9 Habits to Make You Happier, Healthier, and More Resilient. I thought it was great. Valerie Burton, very useful, tangible. Another book that my girlfriend wrote, All Things Work for Good, again about the community of girls that are growing in their ability to take care of themselves, their families, and the community. They are learning how much God loves them. It's just amazing. So those are books. I did not read these all in September. These are probably more of a year-end type of situation. I don't remember exactly when I picked up Suzanne Summers' book, but the other ones I've all read this year. And I think, reading is wonderful. I love to kind of expose myself to new ways of thinking. And it just slows you down more than, videos and absorbing other content. That is all for that.